Welcome to English Conversations C1. Listen and read along to improve your skills.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Museum of London Life. My name's Peter, and I'll be your guide, taking you through your exciting visit, which lasts for approximately 90 minutes and traces the history of this vast and ever-changing city. But before we eventually arrive back here in the present, we begin our walk in ancient London, where we're going to take a look at life from the point of view of prehistoric men, women, and children, looking at how they lived thousands of years ago, when all this around us was fields. At this point, London was little more than a few settlements dotted about here and there, certainly nothing like the metropolis you see surrounding you today. So, from there, the walk allows you to see the city grow as you progress through the exhibits, and take in the fascinating pieces of history that have been found and donated to the museum over the years, including maps, photos, images, and thousands of other objects here. And finally, when we leave the part of the exhibition called Contemporary London, we'll move away from our present here in the 21st century and head off into the 22nd.
Hello, the Museum of London Life. How can I help?
Oh, hi. I was wondering if you could send me some information. I've been looking on your website and can't seem to find what I need to know.
Certainly, sir. Can I take your name, first of all?
Yes, it's James Graham.
Okay. So that's Graham, correct?
No, it's Graeme.
Okay, great. Got there in the end. So, how can I help?
Well, it says that I can print off some vouchers for reduced entry, but I haven't got a printer. Could you send me some through the post?
Sure. What's your address?
16 Mount Hill Road. That's Mount Hill Road, London, E15 2TP.
Okay. Can I take a contact number for you for our records?
Yes, it's 770-364. Sorry, I mean 770-464.
Okay, great. I'll get some vouchers sent out to you.
Thanks. Could you just clarify what the discount structure is?
Of course. So, for groups of 4 or more, there's a 10% discount applied. If you manage to get together a larger gang of people, 10 or more to be precise, then that figure goes up to 15%.
Oh, and what about students like me? Anything extra?
Yes, all students get that same 15% discount automatically. But in groups of 4 or more, that goes up by another 5% to 20%. Would you be coming with friends?
No, I think the likelihood is that I'll be on my own. So, how much exactly would that cost me for entry?
That's $4.25.
So, with the discount, that makes £3.61, doesn't it?
No, sorry. That price was with the discount already applied.
Oh, okay. And are there any special exhibitions at the moment? I'll book tickets for that as well today, provided there's something special that I'm particularly interested in.
There is actually. You've just missed a really popular one that took in the Viking period. And coming up, we've got the period known as the Industrial Revolution. But the one we're currently running is called Underground London, which looks at the tunnels, sewers, and catacombs beneath the streets of the city.
Great. Ideally, I'd like to visit on my birthday, the 13th of July.
Let me check. No, that's a Monday. We're closed on Mondays.
Oh, that's a shame. Never mind, I'll come the day before. Can I book over the phone now?
Certainly. So that's one student ticket for the 12th. Let me take your payment details. Your pre-printed ticket will be available to collect as soon as you arrive at the front desk.
So I should bring my passport then for proof of ID?
People usually have a copy of their booking on their email, and they just show this on their smartphones and go straight through. But if for some reason you can't get any internet connection here, You obviously can't pull up your ticket details to show the museum assistant, but you'll get your tickets fine, as long as you can produce the payment card you bought the tickets with. That's the only ID we need to see.
Great. Well, thanks for all your help today. Anything you'd recommend personally? What do you like most about the museum?
One important thing is that the museum here has formed some extremely worthwhile partnerships with a wide range of local charities. In London, like any capital city, there are a lot of social problems, and the museum's help in reaching out to the world outside is greatly appreciated by so many. But what's so good for visitors, and is absolutely key for me, is that as you walk through from one room to another, you always get a real sense of who has lived here over the years and what sort of people they are or have been. And that's really easy to do because of the way the exhibition designers have connected each section to the next, with a real sense of development and design. It just flows so well from one room to the next. Better than any other museum I've been into, certainly.
Well, you really like it there, don't you?
Absolutely. Unless something dramatic happens, I should be working here for a long time.
Good afternoon. We move you. How can I help you?
Hello there. I'd like some help with my move to London. I'm currently living a long way away in the southwest of the UK. Is that an area you cover?
Yes, we cover all of the UK, so that's no problem. Can I take your name first, please?
Yes, it's Mr. David Cottenham.
C-O-T-N-A-M?
No, it's C-O-T-T-E-N-H-A-M.
OK, Mr. Cottenham. You said that you live in the southwest.
Yes, at 4 West Cottages in Humblington. It's a small town near Exton. Well, it's more of a village, really.
And the postcode there, please, so I can look up exactly where you are.
DV12 8HA.
OK, I found your home on the system here. My goodness, that's very much in the countryside, isn't it?
Yes, it is. London's going to be a bit of a shock for me. It's so crowded.
Well, it can be, but it depends where you live. What address are you moving to?
8B, Green End Road, E19 4RR. A Green End is one word.
Well, that area's one of the quieter parts of London, at least. Not as busy as other places, certainly. When are you looking to move?
The 30th of August.
That's good for us. People are on their summer holidays, children aren't at school, so there's less traffic on the roads. What sort of time are you thinking of leaving?
Around 7:30 would be good.
That may be difficult, because our staff need a lot of time to pack your things into the lorry. They'll need to start in the middle of the night if you want to leave that early.
No, I mean 7:30 in the evening.
Oh, I see. We can do that. And do you want to take out insurance in case there's any damage to your property?
Yes, I think so. I've looked at everything I own, and I think that it's all worth about £40,000 in total.
Shall we say a little bit more, just in case? I know you probably think it'll be much more expensive to take a higher amount, but the difference in what you pay for 40,000 or 50,000 in insurance is actually just a few pounds. It's £10 higher for 50,000 and £15 higher for 60,000.
Yes, OK. Make it 50,000. No, on second thoughts, 60,000. So how much do you think the relocation will cost in total?
Let me check. I think we can do everything for approximately £2,000. That figure may change, of course. It's just an estimate for now, but it gives you a good idea of the price you'll have to pay.
That's pretty good, actually. I was expecting a lot more.
Would you like to book now, or shall I take your mobile number? I can call you back tomorrow after you've had some time to think about it, maybe.
Sure. It's 07238 244 510.
Great. I'll speak to you tomorrow, and if you have any other questions, either call us back on the number you first dialed or have a look at our website.
What's the website address, please?
www.we-move-u, that's the letter U, not the word U, .co.uk.
OK, thanks for your help. I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Hello, Mr. Cottenham. It's Maria here from We Move You. How are you?
Oh, hi there. Yes, I'm very well. I've actually been thinking about our conversation yesterday. You said that the total cost of the package with insurance would be around £2,000. Does that insurance cover everything?
It depends what you mean by everything. That's how much our silver package would cost. And as well as insurance for anything that gets broken or damaged, it also covers your costs if our delivery drivers are late getting to London.
Are there any other packages?
Yes, our economy cover is the same as silver, but without the cover for late arrival, and that would cost you around £1,800. Our premium package has the same insurance as silver, but on top of that, our removals team men come and pack all your things, put everything into boxes for you.
And that's the premium. I guess that's quite a benefit. How much is that?
It would be £2,500 for this job. So shall we agree on the premium?
No, let's stick with silver. I'll have plenty of time to do the packing. Actually, I've been looking at some reviews of your company online. Generally very good. The thing that seems to impress most people is the cost.
Well, yes, I think most people are surprised by our low prices. Others believe that our level of customer care is the best thing about us, and I've also seen some reviews where people are most impressed by how quickly we complete the job. I agree with everything they say, of course, but I'm probably most proud of our reputation for customer care and satisfaction.
Great. Well, I think that's everything. Oh, one final question. Once I make the booking, will I have to pay more if I need to make any changes?
In most cases, there's nothing extra that you'll need to pay once your initial payment is completed, unless, that is, you decide to cancel the booking completely. In that case, there will be a charge of 10% of the total fee if you cancel less than 15 days before the date of the move. And if you need to move the date for any reason, we'll usually do that for a very low cost.
Fantastic. Great. Well, I think I'm ready to book.
In this first part of the exam, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about where you live. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
Apartment. It's a small apartment in the center of my hometown, but it's still bigger than the apartment I live in now. My apartment now is just one room, really. I used to live in a huge apartment, but it was my parents' apartment, and it was time for me to go to university. I left, found a place, and that's the apartment where I live now.
What do you like about the area where you live?
I used to live in Guangzhou, the capital city of Guangdong province in southeastern China. Once an important stop-off point on the maritime Silk Road, Guangzhou maintains to this day its importance as a major port and transportation hub.
Do you often visit parks in your city?
Actually, I have gone to my local park last week. I've really enjoyed it. I have a friend. He never been to my town, so yesterday we have decided to go together next week. We will go on next Tuesday, I think. As soon as we will finish class, we will go.
So, I'm going to tell you about a town in the Lake District, which is a beautiful region in the northwest of England, pretty close to the border of Scotland. There are dozens of fantastic little villages and towns there, but the one that tops the rest is called Windermere. It sits on a huge lake and is surrounded by hills, trees and rocks. I've been lots of times already, and I can't wait to go back. As soon as I finished the second semester at university, I'm going to head up there again. Being far up in the north, as you can imagine, it can get pretty cold in Windermere, particularly in winter. Too cold for some. Having said that, there's a real stark beauty to the town at that time, when your breath comes out like mist and the streets get white with the snow that falls. Summer is the opposite extreme. It can actually get pretty warm. Comfortable enough to wear just a t-shirt and shorts, but if you wanted to visit at that time, you'd have to get yourself prepared for all the tourists. Other times, autumn is pretty, I've been told, but I tend to visit in spring. I go every year. Just me. I have to say that I generally prefer not to go with anyone else. For one thing, you can make friends really easily if you stay in a hostel. There are young people from all over the world who make it their mission to spend a few days or a week there. As I say, it's an ideal place to go hiking or hill walking, so that's the priority for me and for hundreds of others. There's also a really interesting variety of independent local shops, selling everything from cheap souvenirs to galleries full of extremely expensive art. When I go back, I'm going to do what I always do. Browse through the shops after a long day walking in the countryside.
For a number of reasons. Often I think because they are exhausted. Capital cities in particular can be very demanding places to live. The noise, the traffic, the cost of living. And people often grow tired of all that. It's just too over the top for some. They start to feel drawn to the peace and quiet that rural life might be able to give them. Generally speaking, though, I do think that it's the case that younger people, people like me, are more drawn to that vibrant city lifestyle. As soon as you get older and have a family, you start thinking it's time to move. Well, one possibility that I can foresee is that buildings will keep getting taller and taller. This has been going on for some time, all over the world, and so many people now are moving to the city. Unless this changes, we're going to need more and more homes for everyone. We might even see a 500-story skyscraper one day. That might sound ridiculous now, but cities are likely to keep expanding at the rate they are currently. So there will be no other option that I can think of. Oh, I think that would be a bit of a disaster, to be honest. Insisting that everyone uses public transport could create more problems than currently exist. Fine, if you were just visiting the city, it probably wouldn't bother you too much. But if you were a resident there, then again, the streets would be safer for pedestrians, and it might do something about the levels of pollution. I do think it is bound to happen, to be honest, so as long as people are happy to use buses and bikes instead of their cars, life will continue as normal. I can understand why people want a huge, old-fashioned house. In a similar way to living in the middle of the bright lights of the big city, there's something quite romantic about it. Having said that, I do think it depends on your age. Most people of my age, for example, prefer the idea of coming home to a smart, modern apartment every day, high up in the sky, overlooking the city. Well, it just sounds amazing. Providing I make enough money, I'll definitely be on a top floor myself one day. Well, in the old days, your whole life was in one place. You married someone from the same town, you had a job in the same village, and your family stayed around you. In some places, life is still like that. People only need to go next door or downstairs to see their parents, for example. But after people were given the opportunity to move around from one town to another, on trains or even aeroplanes, the traditional family unit started to change, I think, and people are now much more spread out. Not just nationally, but internationally. By the time I'm a grandparent, I think it will be even more different.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the tour today. It's great to see that so many people out there are as fascinated as I am by the astonishing achievements of our great Olympic athletes. My name is Tom, and I'll be taking you through the exhibition and pointing out particular areas of interest. We'll begin with a bang, with many people's favourite event, the men's 100-metre sprint.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your introductory science lecture. We'll begin the course by looking at some of the most vital discoveries in medical history. Why would I do this? Why, when so much of science is about looking into the future? Well, if it wasn't for the discovery in 1928 of penicillin...
Good evening, Camgate Sports Centre. How can I help?
Oh, hello. I'm ringing to inquire about some of the classes you run. I've just moved into the area and I'd like to find out more.
Of course. Is there a particular day or class you're interested in?
Yes. I was wondering if you have any aerobics classes.
Hi, I was wondering if you could help me. This is my first week here, and I'd like to find out about any societies that could be good for me.
Of course. Well, we have literally hundreds of SOCs here. A SOC is often what we call societies. What sort of thing are you interested in joining?
I'm really into health and fitness.
Oh, there are a number of SOCs that might suit you. Let's start with the ones closest to where we're standing now. A12, that's where you'll find the vegetarian SOC, which is run by Paul, and 2 rooms along, you'll be able to find Peter, who's in charge of the vegan SOC. So that's in A14. Peter and Paul are actually brothers. Both of them are really nice.
I don't think either of those socks are for me. I like meat too much, I'm afraid.
Maybe the healthy eating SOC then? If you go down the corridor and past the library, then you'll come to room C16, where you'll find Catherine, who can fill you in about their events and activities.
Thanks, I may well do that. But you mentioned fitness. That's more like the kind of thing I'm looking for. What about societies for doing some sort of cardiovascular exercise?
All of the main types of exercise are covered here. What exactly are you looking for? Cycling, rowing, swimming?
None of those are really my kind of thing. I'm more of a runner.
In that case, definitely head for the gym. Go through the main building, and on your way, you'll probably see the push and pull sock. But if I were you, I'd steer clear of that. The people in it are all a bit weird. So carry on past them, and you'll find Sarah, who runs the hot air sock.
Sounds intriguing. What do they do? Organize races and running events?
They do, yes. And other sports as well, like rowing in the inter-university boat races. That's a lot of fun. The whole university turns out to support them. But if it's only running that you want to do, go and see the road running sock out in the car park. The person running their stall today is Siobhan. I'll spell that for you. It's an old Irish name. Siobhan.
Never heard that one before. Great. Well, that should keep me busy. Lots of interesting stands to visit.
Yes, there's so much to choose from.
Hi, are you Siobhan? My name's Claude. I was told to come and talk to you about the road running sock. So, you must be the president, I suppose.
Actually, no. I'm standing in for her today. I can probably answer any questions you have, but if you need to contact the president, you can look her up in the contacts section of your college email account. Her first name is Claire. Claire.
And her surname?
Her surname's Enwark. Enwark.
Okay, thanks. So, first of all, what sort of distance do people usually run each week?
Well, on average, if you take into consideration all of our members, probably 10 kilometres, or as we say it, 10k a week, and 20 over a fortnight. That said, it's not unusual for a roadrunner to cover 20k each week.
Great. I like to push myself, so hopefully I can keep up with them all. Do you take part in any organised races?
Yes, we do. We've done 10Ks in London, 5Ks in Cambridge, a marathon in Newcastle. The most recent was a 10K in Manchester. The race before that was in Oxford. Both went really well. We got some amazing times.
And do you have a team kit?
We do, actually. It's white with a dark blue stripe. Well, it has been, but we're changing it for this year. Someone recently pointed out that the university colours are white and pale blue, so this year we're going to keep the same design, but have a pale blue stripe instead.
Well, they're my favourite colours, so I've got to join now. How much does it cost to become a member?
To cover the cost of your vest, there's a one-off signing-on fee of £15. You can begin your annual membership at any point after that, and once you start, you can either pay monthly or you can pay for the full year in a single payment. That's £50. But if you find that too expensive, the monthly fee is £5, which is taken directly out of your bank account.
Oh, hello. Is that the healthy eating sock?
Yes, it is. Catherine speaking. How can I help?
I was given one of your leaflets and am interested in joining. I know you go out for dinner twice a week, but what else do you do?
Well, we don't do anything on Sundays, Mondays or Tuesdays, but every Wednesday is our first restaurant visit of each week. It's not always the same place. Sometimes we'll go to the Red Tomato, other times we go to Herbs and Flowers, but it's always somewhere that serves vegetarian food. We meet at 7:30 on the high street.
Sounds good. What about Thursdays?
Well, on Thursdays, we usually go off to my aunt's house. She lends us her kitchen and we all prepare a meal together, a big curry or something. There's a limit of 12 people, so you need to put your name down. We get there for 8 o'clock. She lives in Wensford, so you'll need money for the bus fare.
Wensford? That's funny. It's like, when's the food?
No, it's spelt Wednesford. It's a village a few miles out of town. Anyway, Friday is our other restaurant evening, not vegetarian this time. We usually meet around 6 o'clock in a juice bar, and once everyone has arrived, we'll head off to a fantastic restaurant in town that serves European food. We always sit down to eat at 7.
And that's in town, is it?
It's right in the centre. So you get the bus to Central Square, which is where the juice bar is. It's right next to the little theatre. The restaurant we go to is round the corner in the covered market. It's opposite the cinema.
Okay, I think I've got that. And do you do anything over the weekend?
Not a lot. It gets busy in town on a Saturday night, so the only thing we do is meet at midday for what we call coffee club, just in the canteen in the Students' Union. They do good pastries.
Well, it all sounds lots of fun. How much does it cost to join?
It depends. If you go to all of the activities every week, believe me, I know, it can cost you around £40 or more. I originally thought about charging people something like £5 per week as a membership fee, but it takes so much time to collect that it's not worth it. So it's actually free to be a member.
£40 is a bit above my budget.
Oh, don't worry. You don't have to come to everything, and you don't have to come every week. It's entirely up to you.
How long do you usually take to have dinner?
We're usually in a restaurant for 2 hours having dinner, so the whole evening lasts about 3 hours if you include the drink in the juice bar beforehand.
And what about the service charge at the end of a meal? Do people in this country usually give something extra for the waiters?
In general, people often leave a tip of about 12 to 15% of the total bill. On the other hand, if the service or the food has been bad, they may leave nothing. We always try to make sure we give our waiters 10%. We'd like to give them 15 or 20%, but we're not very rich. We're only students after all.
So, how do I book a place on these trips? Shall I give you a call?
No, I don't always answer my phone. Some of our members send me a text message, which is fine, but I get so many that I might forget yours. The most reliable way to contact me is to send an email.
Great. So, is there anything else I need to know?
No, I don't think so. Oh, there is one more thing. It's really important.
What's that?
Well, a lot of the people have very strong opinions about which is the best restaurant in town, which is the best national dish, which country has the best cooks. All of those things are fine, but if you want to fit in with the group, try to avoid talking about celebrity chefs. That's when the arguments really start.